everyone, welcome to Hidden Shrine. This is S, and today I'm just going to do a quick little flip through of the newly, I guess, re-released Iassen Ghiuselev Tarot. I'm not sure if I'm saying that last name right, but it sounds close. So this is... like I said, they just redid this deck, or re-released it, I guess. It had previously been released under the title, I believe it's like Millennium III Tarot with like Roman numeral 3. Okay, so but it's been out of print for quite a while. And I had wanted to get it for the longest time, but I wanted it new, and some of the used ones I found were kind of ridiculous expensive. So they renamed it the Iassen Ghiuselev Tarot. It's, Lo Scarabeo just released it. They say what it was called. Let's see. The deck was previously released as a full 78 cards deck with the name Tarot of the III Millennium, Roman numeral 3, or I guess third millennium. The original deck is long out of print, and the current edition, with only the major arcana, has been created to highlight the artistic beauty of the deck. Yeah, so this is the little booklet. It's very shiny, but it really only has like 2 or 3 pages, because then it goes into different languages. It has a couple languages, which I guess is pretty nice. Let's see. It starts with English, then it's got Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, and Russian. Yeah, so the original deck did have the minors, sort of. That's actually one of the reasons I never went for that, went and spent a bunch of money on the out of print version, because here I pulled up a picture of 2 of the minors. They're very odd. They're basically these like images that, that were drawn, and then they have a small little depiction of what that minor is supposed to be, from, it looks like some Marseille or something. So I always thought that looked kind of a little weird, a little clunky. Takes away from, the rest of the art. So I guess Lo Scarabeo agreed with that sentiment, and they re-released it as a majors only deck. Now, some people have a problem with this. I personally don't. I mean, obviously I prefer a full deck, but I have 2 other minor only decks, which, I sort of use those for different purposes. So this is certainly one that I don't mind it being a majors only. Now the box is beautiful. It's this kind of linen sort of material on the outside. Nice little booklet, except yeah, it's basically just, it just has like the info for the majors. Very short little white booklet. Now the cards, that's why we're here, right? The cards are gorgeous. So they come in this little box. I don't think it really needs a different kind of box. Let me take these out. Okay, so I got this in the mail yesterday because I had pre-ordered it when I found out that they were going to redo or re-release it, I guess. So this is larger than standard size. All right, real quick here, you can see the size between the Centennial Smith Waite card, which I guess is standard, and this card. So it's quite a bit taller and a tiny bit wider. So yeah, that's sort of the size comparison. So a nice size for sure. Card stock. So Lo Scarabeo is kind of like sometimes with their card stock and also size, but this is a nice large card, sort of taller than the usual, but it's not super glossy. It's got this kind of, it's like this really silky sort of matte. It's so nice. Like, the quality of these is ridiculous. Not too thick, not too thin. Really nice for shuffling, I would say. So, let's take a look here. We have the Fool. And you see all the sort of typical, there's no background, which is kind of interesting. But he's got all the typical symbols, and there's actually no title written there. And in fact, there's no 0 here either, which is interesting. But look at that dog, he's like almost human looking. Okay, and look at the back, by the way, this like star map sort of thing. Really cool. Okay. Next, we have the Magician. And again, no title, just the number. But that is really, really cool. Like, the way he draws cloth is incredible. And of course, the artist is this dude, Iassen Ghiuselev. Get that out of the shot. Is that in the shot? Yeah, whatever. Next, we have the High Priestess. She's got the Torah and the lunar symbol on her crown, or mitre, whatever you want to call that, and the keys. That's a lovely, lovely card. And that's pretty interesting. She's got a yin-yang symbol on her. That's pretty cool, because it doesn't a lot of times when you throw sort of Eastern symbolism in with a very Western looking deck, it can clash. But this one is worked in so nicely that it does not clash for me. That's really cool. All right, then we have the Empress. I absolutely love this Empress. This might be the first of the cards that I saw I don't even know how many years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago is when I started being interested in this deck, but just so strong and powerful looking, this card. And the well, the detail, but the composition is incredible in this deck. And the Emperor, that is so freaking cool. And that is, so that this motif here of the bird of prey was used, and even in this knot work here, you can see. So this motif appeared in a lot of Germanic and also Frankish art of the Middle Ages. It was a pretty widespread motif, but that definitely looks Frankish to me. So that is pretty cool. Really cool Emperor. When I first got to this card, I was like, holy cow, look at this. The Hierophant. And we don't even see him from the front. And it's really cool because his chair is essentially a cathedral. It's really, really cool. I want to read more up about this. I hope there's some like more info on these cards out there, because the little white book is very little. The Lovers. This card is so awesome. So we have another back turned, and there's no second person. However, this, I suppose, religious man, he has been shot by Cupid. So it is too late for him. I really like that card. The Chariot. This one is awesome. So the horses are leading this pharaoh dude, you know, I guess where he needs to go. But that one is really cool. So the motifs are, or at least, you know, the symbols are similar, but the way he's presenting them is just like, wow, 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 wow. And here we, of course, have Justice. Really, really beautiful. I love that card. The Hermit. This one is really cool and very strange. So you have the time element down here, sitting against the tree, and he's got this weird, like, little dragonfly thing. And of course, the lantern up here. And the way he's sitting under the tree really reminds me of the Buddha, even though he does not necessarily look like a Buddha figure at all. But that's a really interesting take on the Hermit. Especially because he's not alone in this image. Interesting. This Wheel of Fortune is crazy cool. So here you have Lady Fortuna, who in the, you know, in the medieval thought, you know, she spun the wheel, and, you know, depending, and she's blind, so she's sort of, I mean, sometimes she was seen as capricious, but sometimes she was essentially just like, well, she just turns the wheel, so sometimes you're at the top, sometimes you're at the bottom. This dude, the king, is clearly at the top right now, so he's a little too happy, kind of gross, creepy gross. And then this dude is at the bottom of the wheel, and he's gonna get crushed. Now it's cool because we see the wheel from the side, which I don't know if I've ever seen that in another deck that I can think of, or even in like a medieval drawing. You always see it from the front, and you have, you know, sort of the ruling class at the top. They're lucky for now until the wheel turns. In what is it? It's in the alliterative Arthur, I think. Arthur has a vision, and he meets with Fortuna, and she basically tells him, yeah, you're at the top now, but watch out because the wheel turns. So I always think about that when I see this card. Well, not this one specifically, but this one does do a good job of that. Anyway, really cool wheel, or yeah, Wheel of Fortune. This is awesome. Strength. So this looks like it's drawn from like one of those Assyrian statues. It certainly looks like it, right? And he's stabbing. That's pretty intense. He's actually stabbing the lion. And the lion, I wonder if he actually has his face in his mouth. I don't think so, but it's very suggestive, and that is freaking cool. Yeah, but the pose and everything is definitely from like a Assyrian or Sumerian sculpture, one of those kinds of things. Very Gilgamesh. The Hanged Man. This one is cool. This one is really cool. And it's weird because so far it's been very sort of medieval and classical, but here this dude has like an umbrella and a bowler's hat. So I don't really know what's going on there, but he looks terrifying, but he looks kind of amused. Very interesting. This death card is so freaking metal. Look at this. Like, wow. That is so cool. So you see the skeleton, but he's hidden, essentially. And then you see this bird of prey flying. I don't know what's in its mouth. Some sort of, perhaps it's an eye. I'm not sure. Or some sort of trinket. This one's really cool, too. Temperance. We have this sort of Japanese lady, and she's pouring presumably water into a jug, but yeah, very cool. And she's balancing too on those weird shoes. I don't know what they're called, but there's some sort of balancing going on. That is really neat. And the devil, that is a very cool devil. Look at his face. And I really like this at the bottom. They're not two actual humans. They're like, well, they're sculptures or they've been Han Solo'd. But, you know, representations anyway. That one is really neat. And he's got his pitchfork and he's got these sort of feathers to chain people up, I guess. All right, then we got the tower. That one's really cool. And the way his like stuff is not completely parallel with the tower makes me think of the Leaning Tower. But it's probably supposed to be the Tower of Babel, and maybe that's God? I don't know. Because the tower is also called the House of God, right? Or sometimes. Or War, I think. This is one of my favorite star cards. Yeah, wow. This one is so beautiful. I love this card so much. So a lot of people don't really like monochrome decks, or I guess black and white decks, and you know, I get that. I think sometimes they're harder to connect with, but like when you get one that is just completely amazing like this, like holy cow, I would put this alongside a color deck any day. But yeah, look how beautiful that is. One of the best star cards out there, in my opinion. All right, then we have the moon, obviously. And this one's really cool. So the moon's behind her head, and you get the two dogs, and you even get the little crustacean, the crab. So that is a really neat moon card. And then the sun. I like this one a lot, facing the sun. And it's not a kid, it's a grown man. Kind of grotesque, sort of muscular features, but I like that. I like that. It's a great sun card. And this is a very intense judgment card. Oh my god. I'm trying to remember the name. I used to work at a record store, and there's this one jazz record I used to always put away, and it was just a close-up of, you know, the trumpet player, and his cheeks were like totally chipmunked like that. That's what that reminds me. This dude's like waking up the dead with some sweet jazz. But yeah, look at, holy cow. I also noticed that the borders have like these slight differences, which is really cool. Whether or not that means something, I'm not sure, but I like it. And finally, the world. I love this world card. So you have this woman walking along, holding a globe, which is suggestive of the world and perhaps an egg and rebirth and all that. But not only that, she has civilization, or, you know, a city of sorts, basically balancing on her head like a hat. And then, you know, she has this sash sort of flowing around like you see typically in the world cards. Yeah, so, and see the borders slightly different again. But, wow, that is awesome. So, that's the, oh, come on, go back in there. That is the Iassen Ghiuselev Tarot for you. Yeah, so if you're at all into using majors only decks, like I said, I have, let's see, 2 others. One of them I use quite a bit, and I'm curious to see what I can do with this one. I may pair it with some other tarot decks, or perhaps just an oracle deck. I could see this going really well with the Carnival at the End of the World tarot. And I also had the idea of maybe taking the majors from this and then taking the Vessels suite from, or sorry, Vessels suit. Sometimes I say suite. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, the Vessels suit from Terra Volatile, and sort of making just a weird little oracle that way. I've thought about that, but yeah, so let me know, is this a deck that you've been interested? What do you think about majors only decks? What do you think about no color decks? I personally love them. I mean, not like, you know, without question, but if it's really good, then it doesn't really bother me that it doesn't have color. Although color can do a lot for, you know, intuitive reading and so on. But I've always really just loved line art, personally. So that's, you know, maybe just a personal preference. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think. Please like, subscribe. I'm going to be doing some hashtags soon. I have two hashtags I'm thinking of that I want to do VRs for. So stay tuned, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye.